My name is Daniel Scott with UDAYA.com, and this is Average Yoga, a series of tutorials specifically designed for people who don't do yoga yet. Take what you want, leave what you don't, go at your own pace, and learn to build your practice from the ground up. High and low lunge demystified. Now, you take the word lunge, or high lunge and low lunge, and you say, how does one demystify something that seems very simple? You'd be surprised, young Padawan Jedi yogi, that there's a lot going on if you just give yourself the opportunity to look for it. So, just like any of these postural breakdowns, we're going to start from the ground up. And you're going to find that if you have very tight shoulders or tight hips or tight hamstrings or tight anything, having a set of blocks or something the equivalent of that nearby is going to help an awful lot. So let's start with the low lunge. Now, lunges are really great for opening hips, for strengthening legs. We're talking from the hips down, we'll say. For everything from the hips down, you can really use the muscular engagement to open up tight parts around the joints. A lot of times in the lunge sequencing, whether it's a high lunge or low lunge, we add arms into it, and we can do back bends and twists. There's so much versatility from these postures, but the most important thing to think about before you add any versatility or any decoration is that your foundation is super strong. So, for the sake of conversation, my right leg will be the leg that I'm putting forward. So, whatever you end up doing, work both sides. So even to begin, a lot of times in that low lunge, we have our hands to the ground, and you can see right off the bat, if I have very tight shoulders, very tight back, or very tight hips, I can't quite get to the ground, so there's this, I can't get there. So just take that out of the equation and raise the ground up to you. To get the knuckles to the edges of those bricks. Now you can also adjust the size and the height of the brick. That's a little yoga pro tip if you haven't seen that. So I like to take all the guesswork out of it. I'm gonna go right to the highest setting. Now I'm looking at my toe and I'm thinking, okay, how do I connect my foot to my toe? Take your big toe, place it down, and then spread it out like a winning hand at poker. Bam, right? With that strong grip of these toes, you can then begin to engage the thigh to press the knee through the shin bones into the heel, and then from the heel, spread out to the toes. So you start beginning to create a muscular engagement from this front foundation point. Now with the hands on the bricks, try to roll the shoulders down the spine, and then try to roll the elbow creases forward. When you roll the elbow creases forward, the elbows themselves move back, and it opens the chest. Now my back toes are tucked. I think this is really a nice way to start. Some people have the back toes untucked. Either way, you're going to push down through the back foot, which is my left foot. Now with the toes tucked, the heel tries to stack above the toes. Sometimes the heel drops out to one side or the other, so be mindful. Look back, set it down, set it up, and then look at your knee. The knee and the heel want to be in line with what, you ask? That front hip. So the hips don't want to be open. So you might have to take this front foot wider and the back knee wider so you can square the hips off more to feel comfortable in this low lunge. Also, if you have very sensitive or bony knees, you might benefit from folding the mat over or putting some padding under that back knee so you're not just pressing bone into the ground and thinking, man, this is the most uncomfortable thing I've done all day. So, set the front foot up, set the front knee over the front heel, set the shoulders above the elbows, above the wrists, above the brick, square the hips off, and then take a few moments simply to find your length. And by doing so, if you press through that back heel to lift the knee, your lunge starts to create itself. Now, a low lunge with the knee extended, it's not about locking that back knee out. It's about extending through the back of the knee, spreading the back toes, and finding a long line from the heel through the knee to the hip. And then finding a way from that to draw the core in to create length in the torso, to pour a little bit of weight into the hands. And then from there, being able to find the back hip, the right hip, rotating backwards so the left hip rotates and squares off the hips forward. Now, once you've gotten all that down between the hands and the back foot, reconnect by engaging that front thigh and dropping weight into the front heel towards the toes. Where do you look with your eyes, you might ask? And this is a great question. If you lift the chin and you look forward, you can even hear when I'm talking, I'm closing off my throat. So instead of lifting the chin, draw the nose into the back of the head and look with the eyes over your glasses, through your eyebrows, forward. It's a great way to keep the eyes forward without lifting and breaking the line of the neck. Similarly, if you tuck the chin, you're going to round the spine. So try to keep a neutral neck and have the eyes gaze maybe 2 or 3 feet just in front of the toes or in front of the mat. Shoulders down the spine, extending through the elbows, extending through the knees, into the ground, find your length. Now, if this feels really, really good, you can take it to high lunge. Now, high lunge, obviously you're going to start raising the shoulders above the hips, so ground down to rise up. As this happens, if you have tight hips or your back leg is very unstable, you might want to bend the knee a tiny bit to re-square off the hips. So take your hands to your hips. Give yourself something to do. With the hands on the hips, you might find that the elbows turn out. So roll the shoulders to the ears, roll the shoulders down the spine, point the elbows backwards, and draw the navel in. Now, right off the bat, that might start feeling a lot of line of tension from that knee through the hip to the ribs. So you might shorten the stance, rebend the knee, shoulders down the spine, keeping strong in that front leg. Now, here's something that's crazy. Extend the leg, shake it out. Because the thing is, you have all this stuff to think about. You get so tight and so focused on being in there, you don't realize how long you've been holding these postures. So what you want to do is switch from time to time. So instead of turning to the back, I'm simply going to take my left foot, step it forward, step my right foot back, and go back down into the low lunge. Now, you can do a low lunge with the shoulders up, and you can even take the bricks behind you. Now, if you don't have bricks, you can always interlace the fingers to that front knee and then have the thumbs pointing back to the hips, roll the shoulders down the spine, extend into the arms, lift the back knee. This gives you a little bit extra support. Now, if the first thing you can do if this pose is uncomfortable is to bend that back knee a tiny bit to put weight more into the front foot and spread the back toes. Now, from here, as you extend that back leg, you can let the hands hang. Navel draws in to stack the shoulders more over the hips. And then instead of flopping your arms up, take the arms forward, reconnect the shoulders down the spine, and then begin to lift the arms up from here. The higher your arms go, if your shoulders are tight, you end up choking yourself off or automatically arching the back. Now, that's not bad, but if that's not what you're trying to do, think about what you can do in your arms to stay happy. The moment you try to take your hands together and lift the arms up, you might start choking yourself up or choking yourself off. So what you can do is turn the thumbs out and the pinkies in, replug the shoulders down the spine, and simply hold this position until you feel, you know what, I've done enough. Lower the back knee, take the hands to that back to the thigh, or even take the hands down, step out of this situation, and sit back and think, man, I've done some great things. To recap, regardless of height, low or high, your lunge revolves around a strong connection of your body to the ground that it's practicing on, your foundation. So in any pose, regardless of it being a lunge or anything standing, start from the ground up. Feet, ankles, knees, hips, spine, shoulders, arms, neck. If everything feels good from the bottom to the top, that energy is going to flow so nicely from the top to the bottom. It's up to you to be your teacher. You're going to know more about your body than anyone else. So take whatever you hear and put it in the back of your head as you practice and think, how can I make this work for me and not against? Think about that, yogi. So, how'd all that land for you? Hopefully, it sparked a fire. And if you're looking to fan the flame, head over to UDAYA.com and enter the promo code AVERAGE J-O-G-A. You're going to have access to a lot more classes from myself and a host of amazing teachers from around the world of all shapes, styles, and colors. By all means, let this serve as a great foundation to build a home practice on that you can have for the rest of your life. Enjoy, enjoy.